Hello magical hands and welcome to another tutorial. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Jessica, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. As we can already tell from the thumbnail, we are going to be making a halter neck dress with a very small basque waistline. This tutorial was requested. This is like the second time someone is requesting a similar tutorial, and I've also been wanting to make something like this, not this exact one or something similar. So before we get started, for the fabric I used this very skirt here on the screen. I transformed this skirt to this dress. This is a very big maxi skirt. It actually belongs to my mom. They used 3 yards to make that skirt. Yes, so I would say I used 2.5 yards to make this dress, or you can use 3 yards as well, depending on your size as well. And then for the fabric choice, I used an ankara print, as you already can tell. So I actually bought a fabric, right? I wanted to go for a fabric that will be similar to the picture, this inspiration here. But one thing I noticed is that this fabric was way too light. I didn't think it was going to sit well. It was going to give me a beautiful cup look around here, like the upper bodies. I was really concerned about that, and I wasn't sure that this would give me a full effect on for the flare underneath. I'm sure it wouldn't have come out as fine as it came out with this than this. So I would advise you go for fabrics that have hold. Ankara fabrics are perfect options. Other options would be crepe, thick crepe, fabric that has, you know, a bit of weight, not light fabric like this. And I think I've explained that. Let's get into the tutorial proper. I've already drafted out the basic bodies of a blouse, and in my previous video I'll upload a very detailed tutorial. Just in case you missed that, it will be linked right in the comment section, and also I'll put the measurements I used right here on the screen. Now the next thing we are going to take is our dart measurement, and in order to take your dart, you are going to need your apex measurements. Your apex measurements is your nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. So you're going to mark it on the bust point line and on the full length, and you're going to connect those 2 points together with a straight line. At the under bust line, I'm going to take 1/2 inch apart from the left side of the apex measurement, and I'll take 1 inch apart on the right side. I'm going to connect this 1 inch to meet the bust points as seen in a slanted form, and I'll connect it to meet the full length as seen in a slanted form. I'll likewise do same to the 1/2 inch on the left side. I'll connect it to meet the full length in a slanted form, and also to meet the bust points in a slanted form. We are not going to be taking the shoulder darts for this dress, so this is all the darts we'll need. For the neck width, I marked 3.5 inches, and for the neck depth, I marked 9 inches downwards, which is because I am busty and I'm trying to maintain some modesty. But if you're not busty, just go ahead and use your bust point line as your neck depth. At that point where you have your neck depth, mark inwards 1/2 inch. I'm just going to go ahead and define that 1/2 inch properly, and then you will connect from that 1/2 inch to meet the neck width of 3.5 inches. This is exactly how you're going to mark your neck width. Once you get to that point, mark inwards 1/2 inch and connect it to meet the neck width. So I just go ahead with my marker so it is more visible for us to see. From that neck depth, you are going to use your curve ruler, and you're going to connect a curve to meet the dart at that point. You're going to connect as in. Just go ahead with your marker so it is more visible, and you stop where you have that dart there. Now you're going to mark what you have in that space from the bust point to where we have that curve, and I have 3 inches. So marking that on the right side, we are going to add extra 1/2 inch, because the right side of our corset or anything that has to do with a cup usually carries more weight of the breast than the left side. So I marked it right there, which was 3.5 inches, and I'll connect it with a curve as seen. Now we'll skip and move to the shoulder line, and we are going to mark the width of this halter neck line, and I'm going to use 1.5 inch. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, but I used 1.5. Now I'm going to connect that 1.5 using the straight side of my ruler. I'll connect it to meet the armhole line. Okay, make sure it blends into the armhole line, and once I connect it, I should have something like this. Make sure it blends into the armhole line, and then I'll connect from that my cup, the curve we have initially, to meet it as seen. Just connect it in a straight line upwards. Now I'll just go ahead and re-extend my armhole line forward. You know, the armhole line curve that we have initially, I'll just blend it into the armhole curve, which is still supposed to be as it was before. So now that I have the cup area, I'll go ahead and start taking my round bodice measurement. On the bust point line, I will take my round bust measurement. I'll divide it by 4, which gives me 9.75. I'll mark it right there. On the under bust line, I'll take my round under bust measurement, divide by 4. And once I mark it, I'll replace that measurement we have in that dart area, because I'll be cutting out the dart. On the waistline, I'll take my round waist measurement, divide by 4. I will mark it and replace what I have in that dart area. I'll connect these lines together, and then I'll connect from the waistline to meet the full length in a slanted form. That way I have created the basque waist effect. Like I said, it has a little basque waistline. And now I'm going to just draw my arrow placement, indicating how this should be sewn together. We are done with the front piece. I'll indicate that part as C for center and S for side. And of course we have the cup. So you go ahead and cut this out. For the back piece, I'm going to extend the armhole line forward, and that's going to be the starting line of the back piece. The reason why I use the armhole line is because the front piece stopped at the armhole line by the side, and I just want it to connect to the back straight like that. So now I'll take my apex measurement and I'll mark it on the bust point line and also on the half length. The back piece is going to stop at the half length. It is not going to extend to the full length of 21 inches. The length of the back piece should stop at the half length or the waistline. So we are going to take our dart, and the focus point of our dart is going to be that waistline or the half length line. So I marked 1 inch apart on both sides, and I'll connect it in a slanted form to meet the bust point just as seen. If it was going to be extended to the full length, you know, definitely we'll slant it to meet the full length. Now we'll start taking our round bodice measurement. On the bust point line, you'll mark your round bust measurement, divide by 4, and you'll replace that dart measurement in that place. On the under bust line, take your round under bust measurement divided by 4. Once you mark it, replace what you have in that dart area. On the waistline, take your round waist measurement, divide by 4, mark it and replace what you have in that dart area. Go ahead and connect the lines together and make sure to extend it into the armhole line. Now this is what we have for the back piece. This is going to be the length of the back piece. So connect it together as seen and just extend it into the zip allowance. And now I'll go ahead and do the arrow placement, indicating how they will be sewn to each other. Now I'm going to take out a fresh pattern paper, just a small piece, and I'm going to tape it to the top part of this. It is very important you go ahead about your halter neckline as seen, except you just want to connect like a straight rope, like a tieable rope. But if you want like a proper halter neckline, just go ahead and do this. So make sure to mark that same width of the front shoulder line on the top part of this. Okay, you're going to mark it upwards. You can see the way I placed the front cup there, making sure that I have the exact same measurement right there. Now I'm going to go ahead on the other side and I'm going to mark upwards 1.5 inch. I'm going to make sure that I have exactly 1.5 inch around this neck area here. Along that shoulder line, I'm going to mark inwards 0.5 inch, and I'll connect it in a slanted form to meet the base of the neckline there. And that is going to be the halter neckline. I'll just draw my arrow placements, facing the shoulder area, indicating that that part is supposed to be facing the neckline of the front piece. So now I'll go ahead and cut everything out. Also, I did not extend this neckline to the zip allowance, and that's because the halter neck does not need a zip allowance. So you go ahead and indicate the lower body C for center, S for side, and then the zip allowance. So this is what they all look like, and I'm going to join those two arrows together to the front piece. Like I said, this is the easiest way to get your halter neck, and it's going to be very relaxed on your body. I went ahead and I transferred all these patterns to my fabric. So at that point there, I added half an inch. That will be what I will use to join those two sides together. And around that top side, I added half an inch. On the base, I added half an inch. On the top part, I added half an inch. And on the side, I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. For the back piece, I didn't add any allowance to the zip area. I added half an inch at that area. I added half an inch on the top and lower side. And on the side, I added 1 inch. Now I'm going to split my cup into two just as seen. I'm just going to cut it open and I will stop at the front piece. Okay, we're not extending it to that back side. Just cut it open at that point. Now we are going to place this on the fabric. I'll just show you guys how to properly cut this. We're going to pin it nice and clean on the fabric. And once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead with my chalk and start tracing out the outline of this top piece. Now right at that point, you're going to mark upwards 1 inch, half an inch for sewing allowance and the second half an inch for ease, so that the neck is not so tight around there. So after I trace out the outline, I'll just go ahead and cut this out. This is going to be the cups. Make sure you're cutting in 2 separate pieces. And once you cut this out, this is what your cup is going to look like. Definitely you do same thing to your lining pieces as well. You're going to notch that splitted area, okay? You're going to notch it as seen, and then I'll transfer this to my lining. I've already cut out the second piece and I just make sure to neatly transfer this to my lining as well. And once I'm done transferring this to my lining, I will still notch on the lining area as seen at those 2 points, those 2 basic points. It's very important to notch those areas. So guys, this is what they all look like. I'm going to keep the lining aside and I'll take out the pattern paper. So it's important for you to note that your armhole line is different from your neckline so that you don't make any mistake while attaching it. So right at that point where I made that notch, I sewed a very straight stitch and I'm going to start pulling the thread so that I can gather up that extra fabric that we got from the slash and spread. So you're going to take your time and neatly gather this up. You're going to do it for both the cups and you're also going to do it for your lining. So now that I've prepped the whole cups, I'm going to place the lining on the fabric, right face facing the right face. Obviously, my lining does not have either a right face or a good face. Any face can work. But you're going to place the lining on the good face of your cup and you're going to sew up as indicated. So you're going to sew all through just the neckline and the armhole line. You're going to stop where the neckline stops and you stop where the armhole line stops. Now, if you don't know the difference between your neckline and your armhole line, your neckline should be longer than your armhole line. It only makes sense like that. So now we're going to flip everything over and I gave this a very good press. So for me to get the type of balanced press I need, I used my tailor's ham and I placed the cups on it and I gave it a really good press around that gathered area close to the bust. So this is what I have so far, and if you join the collar together, if you join that top part together, this is how your halter neckline is supposed to sit. This is going to be very relaxed. So now I'll go ahead and cut the lining for the main pieces, just in case you didn't see me or see a video of how I cut it. This is how I did the cutting for the lining. This is also how I did the cutting for the main piece. So now we are going to go ahead and start sewing our lower bodies. Since the main bodies, the cups are already prepared, I'll just keep the lining aside, but just know that anything I'm doing to the main fabric, I'm also repeating the same process to the lining. So I'll place my front pieces as seen. Of course, I always iron just so my work is neat. I'll place the side front to the center front as seen and I'll sew up as indicated. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to open up the seams with my iron. This way the cloth is going to relax very well. Also, you don't even need to add a boning to this, and this is going to hold you perfectly. So now that we've ironed the front piece, I'm going to go ahead and sew the back piece. Also use your pattern paper to arrange your pieces properly so you're not mixing up the arrangement pattern. So now that I have it, I'm going to place them on each other as seen and sew up that line. And like I said, I did the same thing to my lining pieces. So now I'm going to place the lining on the main fabric, right face facing the right face, and I'll also take it to my sewing machine and sew up as indicated. I'm not going to sew the base, okay, because we are going to be joining the base to a flare or a gather. So for this is for the back piece, right? I'm going to flip it over after I've joined it. You guys, I couldn't show you on my sewing machine while I was sewing it, which is because in my previous video I mentioned my tripod is broken and I've still not fixed it, but definitely working on it. So I'll go ahead and give this a really good press Like as you can see, I turned everything, even the side seams. So this is what the back piece is looking like. I'll keep it aside and work on the front piece. So for the front piece, the way I'm going to turn it is that I'm only going to turn the top parts and the sides just as seen. You see that cup area, you're not going to turn it. So I'm just going to flip it over so we have a view of how I turned it. Yes, only the side, the top, the armhole side. But you see the base, I did not turn it. And you see the cup side, that curved side, I did not turn it. So now that I've flipped it over, I'll go ahead and definitely give this a good press again, just to prep it for the other piece to come in. So now we are going to start sewing our cups to the main fabric. I'm going to zoom this so we have a view. So where the front neckline ends, that is where you're going to start joining it to these lower bodies, and where the armhole ends, that is where you're going to join the armhole to the other side as well. So I'm going to take my pin and arrange it as seen. And the main point is that you see this area that we gathered is supposed to be exactly on that line. It's supposed to be facing that line. So I just take my time to pin this properly. I'm going to explain to you guys on my sewing machine. Also, you have to note that you must sew up the sewing allowance you added. If you added half an inch to sew, make sure to sew up that half an inch. So now that I've sewn it right, you would see that the gathered area is facing that line. And I started sewing from both sides, okay? I sewed from the left side and stopped. I sewed from the right side and stopped. And then I make sure that any excess fabric all gathered at that bust point area. Now everything is beginning to take shape. I have sewn the second part and this is what it is looking like right now. So I'll go ahead and place the back pieces on this, and I'm going to sew up only half an inch from the side piece. I know we added 1 inch to the side for our sewing allowance, but remember that I've already turned the side, so it's left with just half an inch to sew. So this is what it is looking like. It's not looking very straight because I've already worn it. I did some testing, and now I'll go ahead and cut my flay. It's not exactly a flay, just go ahead and cut your fabric very straight. We already know that I am making this from a skirt, and that is why I have to chalk this out. So what I'm doing is I'm marking the length, and for the length I use 27. I try to get at least 27 inches from these pieces of fabric here, and just go ahead and cut a very straight fabric. Make sure it is very, very long. So I measured the wideness of the gathers, of the straight fabric I want to use for the gathers, and I had 2 yards and 18 inches. Trust me, having a fabric as wide as 3 yards will give you best results. So guys, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew a very loose stitch all around it. And I'm going to pick one of the thread and I'm going to start pulling the thread so that the fabric can gather up. Whenever you are doing this loose stitch, don't back stitch when you are starting your stitch and don't back stitch when you are ending, just in case you don't know how to do it. So this is what it looks like. I have gathered up the whole skirt and now I can start attaching it to the top bodies. This is why we did not turn the lower bodies, because we're still going to attach it to something. One thing I like about making gathers is the fact that you can always adjust the measurements. You can always adjust the volume to your exact required measurements. So we are going to place it as seen, right face facing the right face, and we are going to sew up as indicated. We are going to join the top parts to the gathers. So after joining that, this is what it is looking like. This is our little back waistline, and then I'm going to definitely want this to have more volume than this, and the other way to get the volume is your lining. You're also going to do gathers for your lining. Now your lining does not have to be the same length with the main skirt. Your lining can be short, but it's just going to give us a bit of volume. So you are going to now place it as seen, such that by the time you sew the lining to the main piece, none of the sewing edges, the rough edges is going to be showing outside, to all be locked inside. This way your job is going to look very clean from inside, exactly like this. Can see how beautiful it looks. So the only part I will take to my weavers to weave is that cup area, okay, because that's the only part that has rough edges showing. So I'll place it as seen, and I'll take this over to attach my zip and then to close up the lower bodies. So once we are done with that, for your halter neckline, you can decide to use buttons or you can decide to leave it like that, but I used hook and eye for mine, and this is what it looks like. Thank you guys for watching. We've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure to subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.